Anyway, there's a Tuesday game. I believe it's going to be 8:00. The Cowboys at the Ravens. There's no line posted anywhere on this game because we don't know if Lamar Jackson is going to play. It sounds like Jackson has a decent chance of returning. So let's just. I think we can assume that Jackson's going to be back. So with that in mind, like who do you like in this game?
I love the Ravens. I would love the Ravens if RG3 was playing. Like, I don't care. The Cowboys are bad. They're missing they're basically their best offensive linemen, all three of them. Tyron Smith and La'el Collins are out for the season, and then Zach Martin's out a few weeks. You hit on this earlier. That had a massive impact on the Washington Thanksgiving game. Dallas was at least competitive before he went down, and then after that, couldn't move the ball at all. And that score was a little misleading because it was closer than it looked, but it looked like Washington blew him out at the end. So without those three guys, the Ravens defense, which will get a bunch of guys back off the COVID list, is just going to tee off on Andy Dalton. He's not going to be able to get the ball to his receivers or do much at all. Ezekiel Elliott's been horrible lately. He hasn't had a rushing touchdown since Dak was quarterback, and he just keeps fumbling the game away. He seems completely not focused. And then, the Ravens offense, they're not great. They're not as good as they were last year, but they're playing against the Cowboys defense, and the Cowboys defense is terrible. So I'll be all over Baltimore unless this line is like absolutely absurd. But I'm expecting it to be something similar to whatever the Pittsburgh-Washington line ends up being. So that's at -10.5 now. I can see this one being slightly higher because the perception of Dallas is worse. So I can see it being like 11.5 or 12, but I'm totally fine with that either way.
Yeah, and you have to think that Brandon Williams, we know Brandon Williams is going to be back, but Calais Campbell is definitely going to be back too. Like those two guys will definitely play in this game. The Ravens will have basically everyone back from the COVID list. So, we assume that, and Jackson, I think will play. So, as long as Jackson plays, I think the Ravens should cover. But like you said, even if it's Robert Griffin, you still kind of have to like the Ravens. And I really don't even know what that line would be with Griffin, probably like 4.5 or 5, something like that. Dallas is just such trash. Like I really thought they would make a run at the end of the year, and I was kind of scared for my Giants NFC East prop. But when Zach Martin went down, like that was it. And like that was one of the reasons why I like the Cowboys so much, is because they figured out that they could move Martin to right tackle, and their offensive line played a lot better against Minnesota. And then when Martin went out, it's like, that's it. It's over. Like they can't block anymore. It's the same issues they had against the Redskins the first time they played them. So I don't know how they're going to block a Ravens defensive line with Campbell and Williams. And I don't know how they're going to stop Lamar Jackson, even though Jackson hasn't played well this year. I'm almost certainly going to be on the Ravens. It would take like a very weird line, like above 14.5, or like, I guess a lot of Raven players not coming back from the COVID list, but it sounds like they will.
Yeah, it sounds like I was looking at a schedule earlier, and it sounds like most of them will be back. Maybe a few won't. Willie Snead, maybe not. But yeah, Andrew's right. I would pick the Ravens if they didn't have a QB. Maybe not. I don't know. We saw what Kendall Hinton did, but I don't trust Dallas at all. So let's just go with the Ravens.
Yeah, I find myself wondering if I'd pick the Ravens if they like traded for Kendall Hinton and started him the quarterback.
Oh man, I might. That's if they were favored, I wouldn't, but I might bet that line, and I don't feel good about saying that, but I feel like Kendall Hinton's going to be the ultimate. Like, all right, what do you think this line would be if Kendall Hinton was starting? Thing that we're going to do for years and years.
Poor Kendall Hinton. He went 1 for 9, 1 for 9 and 2 interceptions. I never thought I'd see more interceptions than completions, and like he almost threw 4 interceptions, which is just unbelievable. This is so bad. I thought he'd at least run around a little bit more, but it just didn't work for him. So a teaser I was looking at the lines for a teaser this week. I don't really see all that much. Like the Raiders taking them down from -7.5 to 1.5, I think is the most obvious play. I just can't find a team I would pair them with. I know you like the Niners, so with that in mind, going from +2.5 to +8.5 is a good move. And even though I like the Bills, I think I would still consider that. So if I had to make a teaser right now, it would be the Raiders and the Niners.
That's exactly what I was going to do too. I think the Niners are a great team to have in teasers because I think even if the Bills cover and win, I don't think that they're going to win by more than 7. That's just what I think, but I think they're really good to have there.
Yeah, and that's why you want to bet up or bet down. Like, you want to get through those 3 key numbers. You want to get through 7, 6, and 3. Like, that gives you the best chance to hit a teaser. So I like those are the only 2 sides to see right now where you can do that right now. So yeah, that's it. There are some lines that aren't posted yet, but it doesn't look like we're going to get anything with good teaser related. Survivor pick. So we had the Bills last week. We lost twice. First the Colts and then the Vikings. So I was looking at this week's slate and, taking out the teams that we picked already, the 2 teams that stand out are the Raiders and the Seahawks. And I was like, all right, so which team has where can we use another team again? And next week, the Seahawks play the Jets. And this is the easiest game the Raiders have remaining. So I'm going to be on the Raiders this week, even though I am out of my Survivor contest.
Yeah, I'm gonna be. I would be on the Raiders too. I've been out since week 1 and didn't have paid reentry. So yeah, so I'll go with the Raiders. I have no idea who I've picked at this point. I'm probably gonna go back and watch all these ends at some point to see who I ended up picking and if I ever picked the same team twice. But I'd be on the Raiders here. Then the Seahawks would be my second choice, and then if I really wanted to go off the board, oh man, it might be hard. I would consider taking the Lions depending on the injury outlook there. That would be that's my one sleeper team. Like, if you don't have the Raiders, you don't have the Seahawks, I don't mind them as a sleeper if Galladay plays and Hicks is out and Swift plays. If it's different, that's by no means a lock or anything, but I think that they have a good chance of winning.
Yeah, I mean, I'd agree with you if the injury report fell that way. Luckily for anyone still playing, there's so many big favorites this week that you don't really have to dig for a team like that. But if you are stuck, I think looking at the injury report at the end of the week and if you see good news for the Lions, that I think they should be in consideration. So anyway, that is it for this week. Do you have anything to plug?
Yeah, you can follow me on Twitter at Jacob Kamenker. I tweet out all my picks every week, or maybe not all of them, but a good chunk of them. My favorite plays at the very least in all the primetime games. I also tweet some of my work from Sporting News Fantasy. You can follow them on Twitter at SN_fantasy or visit them online at sportingnews.com/fantasy for all your fantasy needs. So yeah, follow me on Twitter though, and let's talk some football.
Sounds good. Once again, please hit subscribe or the like button or comment. That would mean a lot, or share this video. I'm at waltzerfootball.com. Plenty of pick updates throughout the week. And as I always say, Saturday is the most important day because we get the Friday injury report. I'm going to be updating the 2021 NFL mock draft tonight for tomorrow morning. Even though we don't have the Steelers-Ravens result, that's really not going to really affect the draft order unless the Ravens win. So I feel fine with it just going forward. So we have our updated 2021 NFL mock draft tomorrow. Charlie Campbell updated his 2022 NFL mock draft as well as his 2021. So if you want to see who's going to be drafted after this April, definitely check that out. Charlie has all the inside scoop from scouts and GMs and coaches. He talks to everyone in the NFL. So definitely check that out. Otherwise, I'll talk to you next week.
All right. Sounds good. Talk to you then.